So, hello everyone and welcome to Exciting Play Channel. So today we are going to make our next project, and that is going to be expense tracker app using C++. So without wasting your time, let me show you the introduction part. So as you can see, our project is expense tracker app. Here is the introduction. It is going to be a console-based application to track the daily expenses, categorizes them, and provide summaries. And also it is going to be including some features such as add, view, and delete expenses, categorizes expenses into food, transport bills, etc. that we enter actually, and also going to show you the total and the category wise expenses, and also we'll have an option to save data for the future use. Basically it is optional. Last option is actually optional. So let's just come to concept use. So it is going to use arrays for storing the reports, loops and conditional statements, function for modular design, input output handling. So in this project, actually, I have written it before. So let me first give you the, the final, you can say, working. So sorry, I believe I forgot to switch my screen. Okay, as you can see, I have executed this code, and it shows this menu, which basically allows us to add the expense. First, let's add an expense. So it is going to ask for the category, and the category here is, let's say, enter the food here. Then let's enter the description. Now the amount. So as you can see, it shows the message expense added successfully. Now second, basically option, let us view the expenses that has been occurred. So as you can see, perfectly formatted thing. Now the next thing that we need to do is basically to show the total. As you can see, we have a total, and then of course to exit the program. Delete, we are also, let's show you the delete too. Where is it? Enter your choice, right? 3. Let's say I want to delete some choice. It is asking us for the index. So I want to index 0. So expense has been deleted. Now when I call 2 here again, you can see no expense recorded. And at last we are going to just exit the loop. So that's all about this app. Now let's come to the coding part. So before coding this, we are just going to clear out all the functions that we have. Or maybe we can just keep this one and remove everything. I will tell you about the, you can say, actually I have written this on my own. Yeah. So we have released void you can say, what this, as you can see, we have deleted that. Now we just have to delete the next function too, and now our summary function, and at last we got our main. So let's start by checking this import. So basically we have included IO stream and string here, basically to enter and manipulate the strings. Now we got the maximum expenses that we can record in it. Basically why this limit? Basically it can be increased too, but here I have written 100 because of, you can say, constraint. Like I am not using file handling right now, which I have not yet completed and read it. So moving on to the parallel arrays. So why parallel arrays? Basically, it is going to store the values such as, okay, the category should hold the corresponding description, and the description and category should have the particular amount. So that's why we are using parallel arrays, and we are using double here because of course the amount can be in the floating point number, and the here expense count is basically you can say a count of basically the record of all the transactions, or you can say all the expenses that have been incurred. And now coming to our function part, so the first function is basically used to pad the string for the alignment, which you have seen like that formatted one. And for that, we have actually created a string function, pad string, which contains, which basically going to take two arguments, string s and the width. Now it is checking the condition that if a length of the string is greater than or equal to the width, then we are going to return the substring 0, and the width, basically this is what we are going to return. And if this condition is false, we are going to append this white spaces to the original string. And that's about our function. Now moving on to our next function, which is basically function to add the expenses. Now when we are adding our expenses, we need to first check whether the existing expense count, if existing expense count is greater than or equal to, basically this is what we are going to say, max expenses. So this is what we are going to check, whether the limit has been hit for the max expenses that we want to enter here. And if this limit hits, then we can say cout uh, expenses limit reached, is limit reached. So this is what we are going to print here, and also a new line character to basically print everything to the new line. And also we are going to return nothing. Basically we are going to exit the function. For exiting the function, we need some return statement. That's why we are return it here. Now let's take the output from the console, which basically prints the message enter category. And then we are going to take the user input, and the user input is going to be, or rather than user input, we can use get line function. And so this is the new function that I actually get to know about, and it's quite good. So let us take the input from the user and append the values to the array that we want, basically the categories array. And categories, and in the categories array, we are basically trying to enter the expense count every time, because it is going to increase by one with every, say, add of category. So in the similar format, we can actually add description and amount. So as you can see, we have added the description count amounts here, and at the last we are just going to ignore the cin, because that's how we use this get line function. And now at the last, after doing this transaction, we are just going to increase the count by one. And to increase the count by 1, we are going to use the increment operator, expense count plus plus. So with this, we are going to actually increase the count of the expenses. Now, if you want to basically tell the user, okay, you have done this operation successfully. So for that, we are just going to print a message onto this console, which basically say expense added successfully, and at last, and done. So with this, we have actually completed our add expense function. And now it comes to the viewing expenses. Now you can say this is what the main work lies actually, because we have to create an extra function for that, which is basically the pad string. Now, if you want to basically start with it, we have to again check for the same condition. And after checking this same condition, what we can do is we can simply see out that expense list, basically the heading slash n, and in this, let's say expense count list. And now I want to add some dashes. So with this, we have actually created a heading here. Now let's create a cout function, and in this we are first going to, you can say, use pad string here, pad string. In the pad string, we are going to write first our index. Basically, we are creating the header of this thing, and in this we are just going to put the 10 here, and also we are just going to repeat this for, or maybe I can just copy and paste from the previous code, because so as you can see, we have actually written our whole code here, and this whole code is actually used for creating the header of this header of this what do they say structure. And now the next thing that we need to do is to write a for loop for int I equal to 0, I less than none of expenses, or maybe what we can use is len of amounts, and or rather than amount, we can say expense count, and then increase I by 1, and then write something like cout, or maybe the same thing here, but rather than index here, we are just going to print what is it, categories, or maybe I for the category, and for the category we are just going to put I here. Let's remove this string from here, and also we have to convert this into the we have to convert this into the string. Basically, why is that? Because our function takes the strings input, and our I is and our I is you can say number. So we can use a function. Either we can just use this but it is showing some error. So when actually I use this type of typecasting, it shows error. So to finding the alternate, I came across a function, basically toString function, which let us convert our whole things. Okay, okay, now it's good. So now descriptions can also be written something like this here, and also the amount can also be written here like this, amounts I amounts description and categories. Okay, now we have actually written our for function to basically print the output in a structured manner. And now next thing come is the delete expense. Now the delete expense is also going to take the same check at the top, and after this check, basically we need to take an index from the user, and for the input we need to basically create a variable index, and for that we are just going to print enter the index of expense that you want to delete. Expense you want to delete. And after that we are going to take input from the user index. Now after taking this input, we are going to basically check whether this index is less than or basically, and the less than and greater than experience count. So basically I will just copy and paste it here and explain it to you. So this condition basically keeps the track of the input from the user. Let's say if the input user enters is basically in fractions or in you can say negatives, then it is going to say invalid index, because of course we have index of transactions starting from 1. So it's not like we are going to have anything here. So, and the other thing is we can't have any, we can't delete something that is not present in the list, or you can say arrays. So that's why we have actually checked for these conditions here. Now the next thing that we need to do is to basically write the code to remove this whole expense from that, and that can be done by using the following for loop, which I have come across after so much experiment, so much headache. Basically, as you can see, we are first creating a simple for loop here, but we are going till n minus 1 length, and of course we are just basically swapping the you can say inputs, swapping the items from the list, and that's all we are doing. Basically what we are doing is okay, we start with index I. Let's say index is 2, so we are going to start our loop by 2, and at that second index we are going to input the value of 3. So in this similar format, we are actually completing our changes, and after completing these changes, we can do is transaction amount expense count minus minus. Basically, we are going to decrease the expense amount by 1. So this is how we can do this. And at last, we can just simply print a message saying expense deleted successfully. And of course, at the end, and done. So this is what we are basically, we have created our delete expense function. Now for the source summary, we can just simply create first of all a variable, double variable, and the double is going to be like total. Why I am creating a variable here is because we have to actually show the total number of expenses that we have done. Now for that, we can just simply for you can say float or maybe no float. We should present actually int I equal to 0, I less than expense count, and I plus plus. So with this, we are going to basically add every transaction to this total. So what we can say is total plus equal to amount of I. So with this, we are actually going to sum everything to the total, and at last we are just going to print our something like cout, and we are just going to console out and number total expenses basically in the next line. For this, we can say n total expenses. Expenses. Now this total expense is going to be our total variable, and simply we are just going to put the handle because after that we want to print a statement which suggests that okay, now we want to print the category wise summary, and that can basically be using by this simple cout thing. Now after printing this message we have to do some loops, and it's going to take a little bit while. So let me first go through the loop here. This is what the whole crux of this loop is. Now let me explain it to you. So as you can see, this int I is equal to 0 is basically we are writing a for loop, and for every in every loop we are creating two variables. First doubles, basically which indicate that whether double category total, which indicate the total number of categories, and the other is the boolean value which actually get us some indication that okay, this value is counted or not. Then we use a for loop uh, to basically extract the value of categories, and then we match those categories, and if they are counted is equal to true, we are just going to break the statement. Now after taking the categories, we are going to check if are not counted here suggests that okay, if any category is not counted yet, then repeat the same loop as above, basically this loop with the same conditions, and just just plus the amount to the same category. Basically, we are pivoting it here. First, we are actually getting the, you can say, category. Then for the same category, we are actually doing the sum of the amounts. And at last, we are just going to print that. Basically, I hope everyone is clear. Everything is clear to you all. Now, talking about our main loop. First, we are using do while loop, and for the do while loop, we are actually creating a menu. Choice is what we are going to take input, and at and the next thing is we are going to using the switch statement to basically call the functions one by one. And if the choice is 5, which is basically choice for exit, we are just breaking the loop here. And basically, as you can see, we are breaking the loop here. And the default is going to be invalid choice. Of course, if there is input other than this 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, we need to print some message. So let's try to run this. Uh, it's taking some time. It's executed. Now when I try to get expense, it asking for a category. Let's say food option. First, I want to basically create a delete this loop actually. Why is that? Because I have written something wrong. Mm, it's taking time basically. Okay, now it's started to execute. Now it shows us the I want to add the expense, and in the expense I want to add the food category. I will, of course, I will correct it later. Or maybe this is going to be help us. Now again, I want to add a category food. Now we have created a, you can say, incorrect record, or you can say 41 record. We can just remove that. But before that, I want to say other. Oh, sorry, I think I again entered the wrong one. That's why it is repeating for n time. Okay, let's enter a category food. Amount. Okay, and again category. Let's say other. Description is other, and I say 90. And again, I'm going to add for the food one. Let's say dinner. And again, I am going to create a new variable. Now we have added 3 expenses here, 2 for the food and 1 for other. Now we want to view that expenses. We get to view expense list, and here you can see we got. Okay, now here this is going wrong actually, and why is that I don't know. Okay, here for the first transaction it is working, but for the next one it is not working. So maybe there is an issue with our printing. Okay, so summary. Sorry. So with this, we have to wrap up fast because my battery is getting low. So let me just first connect it to the charging point. So, okay. Okay, let me just check whether where we have created this blunder and got this error. So view expenses. In the view expenses, we got this pad string. and maybe we forgot to put slash n or something. That's why. Okay, and oh, here it is. The we have actually forgot to put the new line character handle here. That's why it is doing this. And for now, we have actually checked that. Now it's time to basically see whether okay, this expense is actually going to be correct. Now let's see the three delete basically. Now it's asking us for the index to delete. I want to delete, let's say we check index, other index, or index 1. It says expense deleted. Now if I try to view again, now we got only two. Okay, now I want to see the summary. So when I click 4, it says total expenses and food wise, category wise basically. Okay, now I want to exit the loop. So with this, we have actually completed our project, and let's say, okay, without let's say before wrapping up, let's try to execute it again. And this time, let's try to basically see whether the changes we have done are actually working or not. Let's say food description is going to be other, enter amount, anything else, enter choice, let's say, okay, in the choice we again put something, there is some kind of check should be, okay, now again adding expenses, let's say food, other, and amount is this. Then now again adding the expenses, category other, and in this description is nothing but any random number, also the random amount. Now I want to show the expenses, and now as you can see we are getting structured format. Now for the expense list we can just put more dashed strings here to basically check to basically provide this here. But okay, with this we have actually completed our app. So we have actually completed this project. So let's meet the next thing. And also if you have any kind of suggestion that will be helpful, you are pretty much welcome to put that into the comments.